Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at a fold, and this fold is called a diamond fold easel card because it stands up like, whoops, it's me trying to pick it up so you can see it. So it stands up like that, which it won't go into there when I'm trying to hold it. Very simple, very easy, and as I say, folds flat, goes into an envelope, a square envelope, so you know, relatively easy to find or make your own, and it stands up and looks pretty on the mantelpiece. Now I thought this is a 5x5, you can make them 6x6, but I thought, why can't we make a small, so a mini one, and the measurements and the way of doing it is the same. So people who haven't made one of these before, it's a very easy card. It looks quite complicated, but it's incredibly easy. So I thought that we would have a go at making a smaller one so you can get two out of a sheet of cardstock. So we need a piece which is, it has to be, the actual part of the card has to be a square card. So if you are doing a 5x5 size card, you would make it 5 inches by 10 inches. So 10 inches by 5 inches. If it's a 6x6 card, you would make it 12 inches by 6 inches. And because we're going to do a 4x4, so a mini one, we are taking our paper and it is 8 inches long by 4 inches. Okay, so if you've already got card bases set up, that's absolutely fine, because what you do is you score it in half as you would normally a card. Okay, so that is your 4x4 base, which is 4x4. The card that you'll cut it from is 8x4, so 8 inches by 4 inches, and then you score it in half at 4 inches. And then you score it in half again at 2 inches. This can form all sorts of different cards and things, but this is going to form, when we get to it, is going to be where our easel is going to come from. Okay, so just to recap, you take a piece that is 8 inches by 4 inches, score it in half at 4 inches, and score it in half at 2 inches. Okay, then we need a pencil and a ruler, or you can use your scoreboard. Now I tend to use my scoreboard, so I'm going to bring my scoreboard on, and we are just going to do a very small tick line at 2 inches, just a tiny little one. So that gives you your piece that's in half. So it's very easy from there. And this is the same whatever size you're doing. Oops, there's me just dropping my scoring tool on the floor. Hold on a second while I just grab it. Okay, so now we need a ruler. And this is why I've got my cork mat underneath, because it helps to be able to mark it easily. And you need a pencil. So from this little tick mark, we are going to take the pencil and we're going to take it down to the edge and up to, let me see where that little tick mark is. So from the corner there up to that tick mark, and we're just going to draw a line. Okay, with the pencil. Then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to go from that little piece at the corner up to that tick line on the top, and we're just going to draw a pencil line. Okay. Then we're going to take our scissors, and you can do it on your trimmer if you want to, but it's as easy to do it with scissors, and we're just going to take that up to that top piece, and then we're going to take this piece down on there. Okay, so we're going to keep these two pieces because we need them size wise. Okay, so now if we fold this down so it's flat, we are going to mark with our pencil just down to that point and down to that point. Now doing it this way means that you can you don't have to measure it. You can literally just cut it straight. Just take it a long way up. Point is. Okay, so now we take those pieces out. Now we've got a card that if we fold it in half, we've got 2 points on. Okay, now what we need to do is we have got to make this into our easel piece with the diamond fold on there. So if we look at the piece that we've cut off, okay, that piece fits in on here. And we take our, and this will work with any size. So your piece that you've got left over, if you look at that and you measure it, in fact I don't need it on there, do I? Let me get my trimmer out and do it on there, because then we can see what we're doing. So let me just make sure I'm in shot for the trimmer. Yes, I am. Okay, so if we measure this piece that we've taken off from this to the corner, we can see that it is 2 inches. So when we come to do these little pieces down on here, we can use that one. On this top one, we are going to take this measurement here. So when you've got it folded, from the point to the side, if we put that in and we measure that, so from that point to the side measures 2 3/4 of an inch, 2 3/4. So we need we're going to take 1/4 of an inch off, so we need 2 squares which are 2.5 inches. Okay, does that make sense? So you're measuring from here to there and taking 1/4 of an inch off. So there to there measures 2 3/4. Take 1/4 of an inch off, 2.5. So we want 2.5 by 2.5. So I'm going to do this in some white. So 2.5 by 2.5. So we need 2 of these. Like that. And then we need some pattern paper, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So while we're at it, we might as well do that. And I'm going to use, shall we use some, I've got this paper which is from the Friendly Hello. So I think I might use, I've got a strip here. Why don't we use purple? Purple and blue go together. So this is, we measured that at 2.5. So this needs to be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So let me just do 2 1/4. And do 2 1/4, and then we'll turn it the other way around to make sure that we've got that at 2 1/4. Oh, it's almost 2 1/4. So that's 2 1/4. Turn it that way. Measure that 2 1/4. Okay, so we've now got these 2 pieces. Put this to one side and we'll do these bits first. Okay, so we need to attach these together So as I say, you've taken your measurement from here to here, taken 1/4 of an inch off because that's going to be our border, because we want to make it for it to look all beautiful. So we're going to put this one on here like that. That's one, and we're going to put the other one on. If you've got patterned paper where you've got directions and things, then because it's a square, it doesn't really matter too much. Once you've got it on, you can turn it round. Okay, so we need to have this piece, which is the piece at the top. So we want this to go in on here like that. Okay, so you've got your 1/4 of an inch border and it's going to go up that way. Now, what I tend to do is, rather than just doing half of this, is I will take my glue and take it down, just making sure that I leave enough of a space, and then fill it in. Now I'm going to have this one, I think, because we're going to be putting something on top of here, so we can put it down flat so it makes it easier, and we're just going to put this on the diagonal and make sure that these points come below that seam. So we need to get it right down. This is why wet glue is quite good, because we can then take that border in like that, and we need to make sure that those points don't come too over the top. So when we take it up like this, you've got it nicely on there. And then at the bottom, so the second piece, we're going to put down in the bottom like this. So again, you want to make sure that you've got your 1/4 of an inch border, but no more. And you're just going to put this down in like that and down at the bottom, so you've got as much of a 1/4 of an inch border as you can, and then that can go up on the top like that. Okay, so that's the first part. Now when I turned around and said about this piece that fitted in on here like this, what we need to do is we're going to measure this one. So this one I think was 2 3/4. So we need this at 2, and do we want it at 2.5, or is it like, no, we're having it this way, aren't we? I think so. This is going to be 2 inches. I'm just working out in my, that's going to be the square, isn't it? So it needs to be, yes. So we take it from the long side, so that's 2 inches. So we want it to be 1 3/4 inches, and I think that's right. I will just do one. Let's just do 1 3/4, we reckon. So that's 1 3/4. Turn it round and do that at 1 3/4. Like that. And then we need to just take our scissors. You can do it on the trimmer if you want to, but it's easy to do it with scissors, and cut it, because it's a small piece, cut it straight in half. So that is going to go in, yes, it's perfect on there. So that's going to go in there, and that's going to go in there. And I want to have another one at the top as well, because being small, we can add more papers and things on there. So it was, what size was it? I think it was 1 3/4, wasn't it? Yes, 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 inches. 1 3/4 inches, and then we can cut this one in half as well. going quiet while I'm cutting it in half. Okay, so that's those 2 pieces, 1 3/4. Now we need 2 pieces which are going to be 1 1/2. So I'm doing it all in the same. So it was 1 1/2, so it needs to be 1 1/4 inches. So this is going to be, was 1 1/2, wasn't it? I've got a brain like a sieve at the moment. So no, 1 3/4. So this has got to be 1 1/2. So we'll take this one, and this has got to be cut at 1 1/2. So we'll cut 2 pieces and then cut them down 1 1/2. Take it in half. 1 1/2. And then take that one in half at 1 1/2. Make sure that was on there, just slid across a bit. Okay, so that's that for now. We need to cut one more piece, but we'll do that in a minute. So again with this one, just take your scissors and cut it across on your diagonal. Again, you can use the trimmer if you want to, but it's a small enough piece that you can take it with a pair of larger snips or larger scissors and just take it from corner to corner, so it's not going to be a difficult one to do. Okay, so let's take these 4 pieces, and we then need to adhere. Got my glue underneath here. You need to put these pieces on. And to say, the nice thing about this type of card is you can use up lots of little scraps of designer series paper, and it's quite a pretty one because it looks far more complicated than it is. As you can see, you can cut these things really simply, and it makes it look a really pretty card that you can then decorate how you want. I'm probably not going to do all of the decorating on here because I think it will probably take a bit long, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. So that's 2. That's 3. I think easel cards are lovely for putting on your windowsill and things, you know, for people to have on their mantelpieces when they arrive. I think, you know, sometimes fun fold cards can be quite fun. I think some of them are, you know, I look at them and I go, oh my goodness, they are so complicated and fiddly and take forever to do. Whereas I like things that are fairly easy measurement wise and also mean that you can adapt them however you want. So this is a one that I enjoy doing. There's another one that I'm going to show you later on, which is another slightly different one. Okay, so we've got these 2 pieces. Now what we want to do is we want to take these 2 and they're going to go in here and in here, but you want to try and make those 2 points, you want to get them straight because otherwise it looks a little bit lopsided. So when you put these down, just make sure that you are putting them down on, so this top piece here is quite nice and straight along there. Okay, you can see how that's quite straight. So when we put this other one on, we want the points to come together so that they're straight. Rather than looking at this side, we want to look at this little point here, and we want to make sure that that is going to come straight like that. Because by doing that, you then have this nice sort of triangular bit going on and it looks quite pretty. And we're also going to do, because when we fold it flat to post it, we're going to do this bit as well. So exactly the same process. You need to take these pieces. Again, I always recommend wet glue because it allows you to spend a little bit of time fiddling around with it. So again, with this, I want this top edge to be the edge that is straight. So that's what I want to make sure is straight, with that point coming. Okay, so I've made sure that this is straight. Then when I take this other piece, I can line it up to make sure that that's straight. And I'll show you why on the first one that I did, so the 5x5, I didn't get it straight, and you can see how it looks askew. I'll show you that at the end so you can just see what I mean. But by doing this, you have your nice point, and also it means that when you're packaging it, it does look quite good. So that's going to come up. Now we've got this little space in here, and this is what I'm going to use to write with. So to put my message in, I can use that. So we need to measure this across on here, and this was where we did our scoring, so we know it's 2 inches, and we know the card across is 4 inches. Okay, so this panel is a 2-inch by 4-inch panel. So we need to take that 1/4 of an inch smaller. So we're going to take it from 1 3/4 inches. So that's 1 3/4, and we're going to take it this way. It was 4, so we're going to take it 1/4 of an inch smaller, 3 3/4. And we're just going to put that piece in on the center, and that can go in on here. Oops, it's got my glue caught on there. And as I say, you can then put your happy birthday, happy anniversary, whatever you want on there. But that means that you've got a nice little piece on there to just add your message in. Okay, so now we need to do some decorating on here. And I think because it's quite small, we're going to keep it fairly simple. Let me see how I am on time. Oh, we're going to be just about all right. I'll try and do this fairly quickly. So what I would suggest is you need to have a stopper on here. Now, to have a stopper on this one, we go back to this one. What I did was I cut the sentiment, and if I show you this way, I've cut it with the rectangular shapes, I think they're called, or rectangular stitched rectangles, and I've done, I think, 3 or 4 of those, because then that allows a stopper. Okay, you could put, if you wanted to, you could put an embellishment in there. You've got to remember that it's going to go flat to go in the mail. So I think I'm just going to put a little sentiment of some sort on there. Or as I say, you could do a flower. So from this set, which is the one that matches the paper, which is free during celebration, only got a couple of weeks to go because it finishes at the end of the month. You could put a little leaf on there. You could put one of those flowers in on there and just build it up a bit. It's easier to do something where you've got a die. So let me have a look and see. I'm probably going to use one of these sentiments, which I really love. So you could use a happy birthday, you could use whatever you want and put that down at the bottom and just layer it up. And then on here, put whatever you want so that it literally stands. This is the 5x, let me bring the 5x5 back because I haven't got, I don't want the video to go on too long, so I'm not going to finish this one off on there. But you can see on this, I just did a circle, put my image on and coloured it in, and then I used the layering circle dies to give just a little bit of interest in on there. So again, I could do that, and your stopper is done with your sentiment, which I think looks quite nice. and I will probably do the same thing. You will be able to see this on the front cover. So, you know, the beginning of the video, there's always a front piece for you to see. So you will see the smaller one on there, but that's the other one. So you can see the size. That is a 5x5, that's a 4x4, but the principles are exactly the same whatever size you do. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.